This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. And for the first time in a while, I'm delighted to be joined by trainer John Fewkes on Zoom. John, firstly, how are you doing?
I'm all right, thanks, Andy, pal. Like we've just had a little couple of minutes, but it's a bit of a weird situation at the minute. But like I've been trying to say to all the lads and the lasses in the gym, we're in it now, so we've got to try and stay positive. And if there's anything you've got to work on, if I'm screaming at them to keep the left hands up, day in, day out, they can get it mirrored out of the house and get it up. And just, I think it's a bit of a negative situation at the minute. So if we start thinking negatively as well, it's going to make it 10 times worse. So I just think we've got to try and be as positive as possible. Use this time to maybe better ourselves in any sort of way, lose weight, get fitter, get a bit technically better, get closer to your family, anything like that, pal. I think we've got to do it.
Obviously, you mentioned to me off camera, your son suffers with asthma.
Yeah.
How's kind of that changed your perspective on lockdown?
Oh, it's. I think if I'm 100% honest with you, if I hadn't have had my son, I think I might have been one of them what might have been trying to sneak to the gym a little bit, or might have been trying to, oh, it'll be all right. Oh, that last Friday when he shut the pubs down, maybe I'll just go and have a pint now. Then if pubs are shutting down, I might have been one of them. But the fact, well, you'll know yourself one day, hopefully. Have you got any kids, Andi? Have you yet?
I do not know. No, I don't.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, you must have had it young.
I'm a while away from that, hopefully, John.
Yeah. But it changes everything, and it's just not worth the risk. And I just keep thinking to myself now, no matter what, like I've had, and you can't blame them. I've had a lot of lads out of the gym saying, "Oh, can we just get in gym just to do a few rounds? Can we just do that?" You can't blame them. They look, some of them are top amateurs looking to go professional. A couple of them are professional and stuff. But I just have to say no straight away. I just said no. It's like you can't. One, we can't because we've got to all be in together. But two, I can't risk anything getting back to my house with my lad. Not just that, my girlfriend would absolutely kill me. So that's another thing as well, pal.
So what have you been doing to try and keep yourself busy and keep your mind active?
It's been a bit weird one now because it's 6-7 weeks, I think, we've been gym closed. And I think for the first maybe 10 days, 2 weeks, I don't think I did anything, to be honest with you, pal. I think I just laid on settee, went on back garden with little Ern. I drank and I ate too much than I should have done. And then thought to myself, oh, this is no good. So I just, my missus had a list as long as an Andrex roll of jobs what needed doing in the house. So for a couple of weeks, I managed to get all them done. And for the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've got really back into training myself because even though I'm retired and I've not boxed for a while, obviously 23, 24 years I've been in this sport and I trained for a good 17, 18, 19, 20 years of them myself. So I've just not really had time and I've put a lot of weight on over the years. So for the last 2 weeks, I've got out, got my running gear back on, done a few runs, got back on back garden, done a few bags in abs and stuff like that. So I've really enjoyed it, actually, just try and keep my mind ticking over. So I've kind of gone through the cycle, to be honest with you. So at the minute, I'm going to try and find a bit of an happy medium where I can keep ticking over, keep releasing them endorphins, doing a bit of training, but also enjoying myself, having something nice to eat every now and again and things like that.
Obviously, you have a big amateur setup at your gym. What's kind of like a younger person's mentality in boxing around lockdown that you've worked with? I've spoken to a lot of trainers over this period, but when I'm speaking to trainers, I'm speaking about professional boxers who were looking to fight for titles and what have you. What's the mentality of somebody who's younger?
I think it's been really hard for them, to be honest with you, because a lot of kids in my gym, same as a lot of kids in gyms all across the country, all across the world, we've not all got, like I got brought up with two great parents, what we're all together and we had a good family base. They've not all got that. So I think the fact of the matter is when you try to explain to a young lad or a young lass what, like we had some kids supposed to be boxing for Yorkshire, but they have an amateur Yorkshire belt now and things like that, supposed to be boxing for them and they're all up for that. And somebody just says, oh, you can't do it anymore. I think they get a little bit upset, then the mentality is a bit like, oh, what do you mean I can't go out? Well, it's all right, I'm just going out with him or I'm just doing this or or we haven't got school, so we haven't got to do this, we haven't got to do that. But when you haven't got the maybe a big figure to tell them, listen, this is why we do this, this is why we're doing this is why we're not doing it, they really struggle. And I have to take that on. My girlfriend, she loves it, but she said to me many a times that, not that I get too attached to the kids, but sometimes she says to me, oh, you might overstep your boundaries a little bit. Like, some parents might want you not saying this, might not want you saying that, but I take on a role with them where I have to explain to them why things happen in life and why this is happening. And I don't baby them, but I'm not nasty to them, but I don't baby them. I get them, try and get them ready for the real world. So a couple of them were still going out and kind of doing whatever they want to do. And they think I'm about 100. I ain't got Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook and that. You know what I mean? So when they put it all on the Snapchat and I'm ringing up and saying, what are you doing? They're like, oh, how do you know? Yeah, because it's all you Snapchat, idiot. That's how I know. Once I've tried to explain to them a few times, they're getting it in their head. But to be honest with you, my lot, I've been so impressed. And I think we've got 18 amateurs. The first week, I just left them alone a little bit, but I just keep putting 2 or 3 sessions on a week now on our group, what we've got. And I make them send me video evidence of them doing it or pictures after they finished and things like that. And I'd say 90% of them stuck to it and they've done something 3 times a week, and it's kept them active, it's kept them going. And then hopefully the season will get to start again in September as normal, touch wood, and they'll be ready to go. But I think it has been a struggle for them. But listen, if you're 14, 15, 16 during World War I and World War II, you didn't have a chance to deal with it, did you? To worry about it or struggle about it. You just had to get on with it. So this is by no means a world war, but this is probably the biggest thing that generation, or even my generation, or your generation, has been through yet. So it's going to be hard for them. But listen, like I've said to them before, it's boxing. It's boxing, it's life. If it were easy, everybody would be successful. And it never went always right for Mayweather and De La Hoya's and people like that. They kept training, they kept ticking over, they kept mentally strong, and that's why they become the best they did.
How do you think this will change the amateur setup when everything returns in terms of a financial aspect? How hard do you think it will hit the amateur gyms?
I think it's gonna hit very hard, pal. Like we're all we're all voluntary here. I don't get a wage. None of lads, Graham, Mickey, Wade, James, all lads with help out. None of them get a wage. We just the way we cover as expenses to go to shows and things like that. Yeah, if you go to a club show, they'll give you your petrol money, but your championships and stuff, we do spot the bowls, we do like days out and things like that. We're very lucky to have Dennis Hobson as a partner in our gym. I do all the amateur side, and then me and Dennis work together with the professional side. But Dennis helps us out dramatically. Like, he's brilliant. So if we need anything for the gym, he will help us out. But everything's going to hit him as well. He's no different to anybody else. So the fact of the matter is, I charge kids £10 a week for 7 days, because some parents haven't even got that. So sometimes they come to the gym and they say, oh, I can't train, I've got no money. I'm like, well, don't be daft, get in gym. Do you know what I mean? So if we're just charging £10 for 7 days, that's the benchmark you've got to look at to show that we're not dragging money in left, right, and centre. And then we've still got to get lads to, I don't know, if we have a lad on in Liverpool, they might give me 25 quid petrol money, 30 quid petrol money. That's going to maybe cost me a bit extra for petrol, dropping them off. If one lives at one side of Sheffield and one lives at the other side of Sheffield. So I think it's going to be hard. I think as soon as, because everybody's still going to be a little bit scared to go to social gatherings. So if we start the season back up in September and we put a show on, say we normally sell 500 tickets, it might drop down to 250, 300 tickets, because there might be a lot of people saying, hang on a minute, it's still not right, we're not going there, or we can't do that, and things like that. So, and plus, there was a lot of championships, what were quarterfinals and semi-finals. We actually had a lad in national semi-finals, what got cancelled. So they're all going to have to be boxed before the season starts. Now, championships, same again, no expenses, no nothing, nobody gets any money out of it. It's just the ABA just put it on. So if we're not getting anything out of that, the club's just going to have to keep ticking over and ticking over. I think it's going to take at least the rest of this year to try and get us back up on his feet a little bit.
Let's move on to the professional game. And what professionals are you currently working with then?
I've got at the minute, I've got Sufyan Ahmed. He's 5-0. He was meant to be boxing on Tommy Frank was boxing for world title on 27th of March. And Sufyan meant to be boxing a lad called Kane Salvin for area title, super featherweight area title, which it was a bit of a step up for both of them, since they've only had 5 fights, but the title was vacant. And they both only had 5 fights. So even though none of them was really 10 rounds area title ready, they was both in the same boat. So end of the day, boxing is about taking a risk. So they were supposed to be boxing each other. I'm also working with a kid called Nathan Owen from Sheffield. Very good amateur. I think he was about 50 bouter. His dad actually trains in Paul Owen, but I've known Paul and Nathan a long, long time. So he comes up here a couple of times a week, 2 or 3 times a week, and I do a little bit with him, and then his dad does a little bit with him at home and stuff. Like, I'm more, his dad's training him. I'm just helping him out as a friend, and he's part of that. He's part of Dennis Hobson Promotions, so he's part of our team. And he comes up and he spars with Soph, he spars with a couple of our lads. And at the minute, apart from I help out with Tommy Frank and Keenan Wainwright and stuff, but they're Glenn's babies, they're Sheffield Boxing Centre. I'm just privileged to help out where I can in corner. And we went over on training camp with them just before the lockdown started. But I'm more, like I said, last time I spoke to you, I was working with Kel. And it was, obviously, I'm not working with Kel anymore. And it was like, even though it was a brilliant experience and I loved it, it kind of, my gym struggled a little bit. Because even though Graham and Becky and Wade and James and Mickey all were brilliant looking after the gym, I think everybody will tell you it's not the same if the captain of the ship's not on the ship. Do you know what I mean? And I think a few of them were getting a little bit lazy and a little bit whatever. So when I come back, I actually said to Kelly himself, when we're still working, we're going to have to start training at home a little bit more, because this is my bread and butter. This is my baby. This is what I'm going to do until I'm 70 years old. So, are you there, Pat? Oh, just cut out.
That's all right.
I'm 70 years old. So, I started to put a lot more time into these kids, and I've now got 3 seniors what are all good kids. One's unbeaten in about 6, one's lost 4 out of 17, one's lost about 6 out of 20, something like that. They're all 24, 25, 19, 20. So we was going to look at maybe September, October to turn them over. But what I've said now, we'll get rest of the year out of the way, put them in some championships at end of the year, and then come start of year, we'll turn them over. So this time next year, hopefully we'll have 6 or 7 good young pros in gym.